The Workarama podcast is about embracing and celebrating new ways of working. The world has shifted considerably in the way we work. Thousands of people have now been set up to work from home, and this happened very quickly. Workarama is a podcast of conversations, ideas, and personal experiences to show businesses and individuals how they can make these changes in a more permanent way, and how to ensure that both employers and employees can thrive in this new way of working. So today we're going to chat to Andy Meighan. He's a facilities manager from PRA Health Sciences in Reading. I think facilities have got one hell of a job going on at the moment. They're involved in the health and safety, the practicalities of getting us to work remotely and then getting us back into work. So I'm very interested to see what Andy's got to say. Let's meet him now. So, hi Andy, big welcome to Andy Meighan, Facilities Manager, PRA Health Sciences in Reading.
Hi Jill.
Hi. So how long have we known each other?
About 3 years, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Judging my memory, 3 years?
Probably a bit more than that, actually. It's strange how time flies, I think. But
it does, yeah.
Just so everybody knows, you've been a client of Workwise Ergonomics for that time. We've done DSC training, manual handling training, back to work assessments, all that sort of good stuff. Yeah. Over the years. And how long have you been at PRA?
4 years. So, yeah.
Have you always done FM?
I have. Well, I've done real estate as well, but a bit of both. So real estate, FM, yeah. Many caps, health and safety as well. So, yeah.
I think it's, particularly at the moment, I don't think, if I had my time again, I think I might do the FM. I think there's no way you can be bored ever, and definitely not at the moment.
No, there's always something, yeah. Your day doesn't ever pan out how it's meant to, because something always happens. Yeah. There's always some disaster or challenge or whatever way you want to view it. When you come in, you set your day out and then, it never turns out quite the way you expect it, because, a curveball gets thrown at you and you got to deal with it. So, yeah.
I think that's a good thing about it, though.
It is, because, like you say, makes it interesting, and, it's never the same. You're not doing the same laborious task. It's always something new, something different. So, from that side, it's really good. It's challenging and, makes it enjoyable. Okay,
so just to give us a background to PRA Health Sciences, just tell us what they do and where you're based. You're not just in the UK, are you? You're all over the place.
Yeah, so PRA Health Sciences, it's Pharma Research Associates is the PRA. We're a clinical company that do studies for CROs, which are like research organisations that produce drugs, and we do the trial for it. So we would test drugs and record and look at the how that affects patients. So we do that trial for lots of companies. We're currently doing COVID-19 studies at the moment.
Are you?
We've got several ongoing. We've got drugs in trial. We're also looking at antibody when you see if you've got immunity as well. So we're doing the study on that. Yeah, so there's lots of different trials going on at the moment within the company. We are American based, so we're led globally from Raleigh in the US. We're split sort of NALA, which is North America, Latin America, and then we have EPA, which is Europe, Asia Pac and Africa, which I'm part of that group. So I'm the health and safety officer for 68 countries, I think, in EPA. Wow. We range from Kenya right out into China and sort of pretty much the whole of Europe. So we have offices pretty much in every major country in Europe.
So is that just R&D? You don't do any manufacture at all?
No. So we have big clinics in the US. We have big clinics in the Netherlands. We have a lot of warehousing for storage for products, all that type of thing in Russia. So we have a big logistics sort of branch of the company.
Wow. Okay. So in terms of, I was going to ask you what you were doing before. Let's do that. I'll ask you what you were doing before, and then I'll ask you how it's changed. Because just from that point of view of your involvement in all of those different countries, no wonder you've been difficult to get hold of the last few weeks.
It's with COVID-19 going on, yeah, because it's taken up such a large amount of my time. Because everyone needs guidance, and yeah, we're providing all that guidance. Yeah, so it's quite, can't do my day job.
Just about every FM that I know are just, really, really up against it at the moment. Just really running around really, really struggling.
Yeah, because everyone's in not panic, but they want reassurance. Yeah, they want to know the offices are safe. They want to, so. Yeah, we're doing all that. All the paperwork's been done, all the risk assessments, all that. So it's just now we're sort of getting down the nitty gritty of like who needs to come back. And yeah, a lot of people are just, I think they're happy to work from home.
Yeah, well, that's sort of part of what I want to ask you about, really. Yeah. So just in terms of the history of how you were working, when we last spoke about people working from home, it wasn't really something that as an organisation that you were doing, and there was all sorts of reasons for that. Do you want to just talk us through how you were working as an organisation, whether you were very much office-based, whether or not there was any sort of agility within the office, how much home working that you had, and what were the reasons for why you were working the way you were?
Yeah, so when I joined the company, the message was quite clear. People were to be in the office 5 days a week. So when I started, we had 400 plus employees in our Reading office alone. We're now down to 300. So that there has been an introduction of some flexible working. So we have like parking issues is the main driver around it. So what they're allowing, we have a bus service. So you have to get park and ride. So you have one non-parking day. What most people do now is that's their work from home day, because they don't want to use the bus. Some people do, some people don't, but it was only certain departments that were sort of allowed to do that. So there's certain sort of set departments that have to be in 5 days a week, us being one of them. Finance in 5 days a week. And there was I'd probably say about 60% of the office were allowed a little bit of flexibility before COVID-19. And
you were set up sort of from a tech point of view. You were set up to work remotely then, potentially. Obviously, the people that did work, 1 day a week were. What about the rest of you?
Everyone has a laptop and PRA.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just once this happened, it was just pack up, take your peripherals, and work from home. So it was quite easy from that perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, the model is from the US that we have a lot of real estate. We use real estate. The CEO likes to see people in the office. I think that's what they expect. It is changing. I think COVID-19 will change everything. Yeah. From our perspective, because there's departments that have worked from home that never did, and it was always they can't. It's not possible. I think
what was the reasons why they were saying that they can't?
MFDs, that type of thing. Scanners, copyists, like finance. They're meant to be paperless, but let's be honest, nothing's ever paperless. No. So that they've got the biggest copiers you've ever seen in your life because they're constantly printing, scanning. But there's technology to allow them to do that. They've got around it. It's proven, because they've sort of outgrown their space in Reading. And my suggestion was that they went to flexi. No, you need to build more space. I'm like, but when I look at the footfall, when I look at your numbers, you haven't got enough people in to fill the desks. But what was it management that was saying no, or was it employees? Management. So they don't look at footfall. They see that, there's 67 people need a desk. Well, no, they don't, because at any given time, you've only got 45 people in. So why would I put more desks in? Oh, no, we all need a desk. No, you don't. Clear desk policy. You can all flexi. You're meant to be paperless. But so this has proven that they can. It's quite interesting. So that we had a request in to change the office to make more space. That request has been withdrawn.
Really? Because they've realised actually you were right all along.
We've had a message from management to say that flexible working now works for that department. So it's quite an interesting. So for us as a department, it's quite an interesting point from our own management. Yeah.
So how's that going to affect? So, you know, when you sort of say how you describe flexi is that, I guess that's hot desking is what you're talking about there.
Yeah, I mean, at Reading, we've got 400 odd desks and only 300 odd staff. So nobody needs to flexi. I think what will happen is they will look at numbers and do we need all that space? We've got a lot of space, a lot of real estate. Our real estate bill across EAP is huge.
Wide we're talking about.
Yeah. But the model we're moving. So we've just done a massive refurb in Swansea. We've got 255 desks currently. We can max it out to 300. So we built it to 300 capacity. We're already at 300 staff. They've just gone clean, clear desk policy, flexible policy, lockers. They do zones. So you come into work, Jill, go to zone 4. Andy, go to zone 6. And people, the challenge I've got now is because of COVID-19 is flexi desking. There is the flip of it because people don't want to share spaces, people don't want to share peripherals. So obviously we're having to make changes to deal with that.
So what changes are you making to deal with that?
IT, you're giving everyone their own set of peripherals so that they don't have to share keyboards, all that type of thing. We don't have phones. So another thing that went with the new was no phones. Everything's off your laptop. So it's Jabra, Skype, everything's, do Skype calls. There's so many ways to call now. So the day of the phone on the desk is really gone, to be honest. So and they could basically take it away, come in. We've set up a cleaning regime, so we know you're in today, Jill. That desk is set out for you. What the next day, then that will be out, so the cleaners overnight can then clean it fully to the cleaning mythology for COVID. So then when the next shift comes in, it's clean. So we're doing an A and a B shift to allow people back in and then obviously get it cleaned and set up ready for the next person. Obviously we're putting all the wipes, gels, all that type of thing as well, because people still want to do it themselves. And we've got that element of we understand that someone telling you it's clean doesn't necessarily reassure your mind that it is clean. So we're allowing people to self clean, that type of thing as well. So the flexi is good, but it's obviously a bit of a challenge with the COVID. We can get around it because of the numbers. When we go to back towards full capacity, because we're doing phases. So we're in phase 0. Phase 1 is up to 25% of occupancy. Then it's phase 2, 50%, and then phase 3 is everyone back.
And how long is that going to take you, do you think?
There's no deadlines. PRA. So we are, as a company, nobody's furloughed. Everyone's employed. We're employing like crazy because of what I spoke about earlier, because of the extra work.
The R&D.
We are employing people. So we've just employed 25 drug safety people in Swansea because of the drug safety testing. So we're employing, not looking to get rid. So nobody can be furloughed in PRA. We've got people in situations that probably could, but they're carrying on employment. We're finding. So I have a receptionist for Reading who's pregnant. Obviously can't come in, but her job's in the office. So what I've done is I've gone to other departments and got her admin work and kept her busy that way. So she's picking up sort of half of 50% of the time sort of facilities. But what I did is I reached out to other departments and said, I have an admin person for, 15, 20 hours a week. Would you like to utilise them? So we've done that to keep her, fully employed, because otherwise we'd just have to basically leave her at home on full pay.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't make any sense. It's not good for anybody, is it? You know.
No, and she wanted to work. I mean, that's the other thing as well. She wanted to work. It wasn't she didn't want to work. She was just wanting to sit at home. She wanted to work. So we've actively sort of seeked other work and opportunities for her. So yeah, because I don't the period's like till June, so I don't know what we'll be allowed to do with her come June. Whether we'll be allowed to let her come back to work or not.
So just for anybody listening to this later, we're 19th of May at the moment.
Yep.
So we've the lockdown has been eased a little bit, but still being encouraged to work from home where we can. So the mood of your senior management is that they definitely want people back. Is that right?
So the message really is anyone that needs to come back. So what they've done is they've provided a key worker list. So it's facilities. Obviously, we've not stopped working. So throughout this,
of course,
facilities have been every day. We are doing shifts. Like I read, and I've done shifts to sort of, alleviate some of the issues. But we're open. So even when it was in like Italy and when it was in full lockdown, we were still opening 2 times a week. Because we had to keep the business running. So, yeah, IT, finance, drug safety, which I just mentioned because they're classed as a key worker now because they're obviously working on COVID-19 related. Yeah. So we've done that. The other thing which probably interests yourself is obviously as a business, we're looking at people. So we have a lot of graduates. A lot of them are in very tight working conditions, shared working conditions. So locked in a room all day type of thing because they're in a shared house. It's well-being, their physical health. If it's classed that they need some time in the office, we're looking to allow that, obviously in a controlled way. So we're looking at all those types of things as well because there's certain people that are struggling because they're working from home and they're not really set up. It's meant to be a temporary measure, but 8 weeks is a long temporary period.
It's funny, isn't it? The HSC is still considering it to be temporary, but, I think from a DSC point of view, it's certainly far from temporary already.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in facilities, but I've bought myself stuff out of my own money to help me for home, yeah. Not everyone will do that. They will expect companies to provide them everything that they would have from the office. Yeah. I mean, it's quite an interesting what viewpoint you take. For me, if my health's going to suffer, I'll buy it myself. I might ask the company if they, but we've made exceptions. So we're allowing exceptions to people that have DSE issues. We're treating that as normal, even though they're office based, and we're looking at in each individual case. We've allowed people to take equipment from the office. We've allowed chairs. We've sent stuff out. We've purchased stuff. So yeah, we try to manage it sensibly. Obviously, generally it's temporary working. We've provided guidance. We've provided, training, all that type of thing. But yeah, it's a difficult one. I understand both. I understand the company line. I understand the sort of the employee line. But I'll be honest, most people are quite happy. So obviously with my job, I do talk to a lot of people that they're happy at home. They've set up well, the big emphasis we've given is breaks. You're not at work. We expect your efficiency to drop, take more regular breaks. Do not sit for long periods on calls, get up, move about, even if you have to say to someone, I need to take a break, take a break, drink plenty of fluids, go out, get your exercise. It's allowed, the message is really clear from management, we expect you to drop in efficiency because of the conditions, but, keep working and take as much time as you need, for you to be comfortable and safe at home.
It really is the most important thing, and I'm not saying throw physical ergonomics out the window, otherwise I'd be out of a job. But move. It really does have to be the biggest message. And I think it's really interesting, depending on, where people live. If you live out in the country somewhere, you probably have got a house that's big enough where you can get yourself set up in a reasonable way. If you're sharing a flat in central London, there's probably 5 of you fighting over the kitchen table. It is very, very difficult, different experiences. And I think this whole thing to me has been very, very fascinating, that COVID-19 has got so many different experiences to it, depending on who you are, where you are, what your situation is. It really is very, very interesting from an ergonomics point of view, because obviously ergonomics isn't just about the physical you, it's about the psychosocial you as well. So that other thing that you said is interesting about, people that are wanting and needing to come into the office. It's why do we go to work? It isn't just about going to work to do a job, is it? It's all about those socialization aspects.
Exactly. Contacts, normality. People like routines. So we have put that message out for people that are struggling. Obviously talk to their FMs, and we can then deal with that on sort of a case by case. So obviously we're saying business essential to start with, but we're sort of viewing that as essential. If people are struggling, will it help them? Some normality. We're not saying come back 5 days a week, but that bit of contact with the office, come in, it might make a massive difference to their well-being. So that message has been quite clear. So that type of person then has gone into our key list. So we provided a key list. So every FM has been asked to sort of, look at people's well-being, not just their needs for, business, but their own, physical and mental needs as well.
And I think long term we will be looking at ways of finding the best of both worlds, so that we don't have to do that horrible commute every day. But equally, you can go into the office and get some socialization and some normality and that separation of work and life if you want it. Have you, I know you're saying some people don't want to come back. Have you formally tested the mood, or is it just because
we've done surveys? We surveyed in a few countries. It varies, as you can imagine. So Asia, so I talked about the phases. We're in phase 0. Asia, so China specifically, have gone back to phase 3 on Monday, yesterday.
They're all back.
They're back. So they've gone phase 1, phase 2 pretty quickly. They want to get back. It's their culture. Japan, so our Japanese office had never, ever worked from home as a sort of a mandatory, and they were not keen to do it.
Just not what they do.
And they're quite enjoying it. So my colleague out there saying that people are actually enjoying it.
Interesting.
Because they're not the commuting, the getting into Tokyo, the whole, so they're seeing a benefit from it, because they're not in the rat race. They're not, and they're actually more productive, because that hour of not coming in on the transport is being utilised at home. For them, I think they're working a little bit longer hours because they've got time. They're not being forced to, but their culture is they're utilising that time to do extra work, because their work ethic, is sort of second to none. But it's quite interesting. So.
Management are supportive of that, do you think?
Yeah. It's sort of they're letting countries manage themselves.
Yeah.
We've had guidance, which I've helped provide, and it's been globally sort of distributed. They're letting each BCT, business continuity team, are managing each location how they see fit for their employees. So there's a message, which is we're not forcing people back to work. We want people to feel safe. These are the things we're doing. So we've got like a 5-point checklist, risk assessment, cleaning regimes, all that type of thing, to say that we're doing all the things we need to. But message is you don't have to come back to work. We're just enabling you, if you need to, that the office is safe. PRA have done all they can. You can start bringing people back into work if it's essential, or for other needs like we discussed. So, but the surveys, there was 47% for China. We're actually quite happy from home, which is.
And is that unusual for them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It would be
okay.
90% probably normally.
Yeah.
In the office, yeah. Normally it would be that, yeah. To see 47%, I know it doesn't sound big, but for China, yeah, huge. Yeah. I mean, they polled before, it would be 90 plus. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, their culture is off it. You know, they need to be in the office, have to be in the office. Yeah. Whereas Europe, so Germany, quite keen. Germany have not stopped working. Quite interestingly, so they've had Mannheim's a big office we have in Germany. They're around 400 plus people. They've sort of maintained 60 to 100 throughout the whole lockdown. And they're looking to move straight sort of to phase 2. So they've already been in their class, and that's phase 1. They're looking to go to the 50%, so sort of up to 200 people, pretty quickly. So yeah. Whereas UK, people are quite happy at home. Yeah. So our London office, no one's going to come back in phase 1. No one. Because of public transport worries, like logistical worries. So the business has just said, that's fine. Plus, the other thinking was that it allows public transport to be freed up for other companies that need it. We don't need it. They can work from home. So we discussed it as a team, and that was the decision. So our guys don't need to come in. There's no point in sort of risking their health. No. Plus, it frees it up for other people. Swansea. So the other interesting thing is obviously we're on different laws. Because we've got Scottish and Welsh governments. So I have an office in Livingston and I have one in Swansea. They're not looking to introduce phase 1 at the moment because of the sort of the narrative from their own governments. So Wales has adopted a traffic light system, sort of on the return to work. So yeah, it's everywhere's different, but the UK, yeah, definitely seems everyone's happy at home. There's no rush to come back.
I think that probably is, though, a big part. It's our transport infrastructure that probably has caused that. Certainly in London, I mean, you can completely see why you wouldn't want to be on the underground if you can help it. But also, you know, if you live outside of London, then, you know, you don't want to sit in traffic all the time, do you? And the roads are awful as well. And as you say, in Reading, you've got dreadful parking issues.
Yeah, I mean, To give you an example, so I'm an hour from Reading, but at the moment I can do it in about 35, 40 minutes.
Wow.
Because there's no traffic. I get it. So the journey to Reading's not too bad. It's getting off the M4 into the actual Green Park. At the moment, don't have to worry because it's green lights. No stopping, pretty much. There's no cars.
Yeah.
So it's a hell of a difference. So when I do go in, it's taking me... And it's so, you know, it does take a lot of stress off, you know. You don't realise it, but yeah, I'm going to be late, you know. With the best will in the world, you leave at set times, but you don't know what the traffic's going to be like there because there's so much.
No. So it's interesting.
Still there, though,
there's, you know, obviously some difficult bits, and I don't think anybody would ever have wanted it to happen. But there's some good stuff in there, isn't there? You know, it's forced us to look at different ways of working and stuff, which many companies just never would have done unless they were forced to do it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think that being forced is just it's allowed people to prove that they can do it. You know, you might need to make some adjustments, especially from an ergonomic point of view. Companies might need to change how they sort of manage that. But I think it's a marriage. You know, you might need to look at your real estate space and your office space, or your outlay for the office, to then compensate for enabling people at home a bit more.
No, I completely agree. I think it's going to change that landscape and that dynamic totally. What about your profession, the FM profession? What changes do you sort of foresee in the next 1 to 5 years, I guess? I mean, I think it's going to change quite fundamentally, but you tell me.
I don't know at the moment, if you know what I mean. I think it will change. I just don't know which way, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think this is going to have a huge effect about how we sort of manage the office and manage our home workers. But yeah, I don't really know exactly what that's going to be at the moment.
See, I see, I mean, FM there's always been that crossover between FM and health and safety. But to my mind, almost like that splitting of FM and health and safety is always becoming less and less relevant in a way, because if you look at almost all the health and safety aspects of what we've got going on at the moment, it's all about practicalities, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is where FM comes in. And it's almost like I can see the roles just completely merging. And so they've always been a bit merged, and you get a lot of FMs that are responsible for health and safety anyway. But those separate health and safety teams, I'm not sure about anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm a regional FM, but also health and safety officer. So yeah. So I sort of, I guess I'm the technical lead, is the way the company view it. Yeah. Because a lot of FMs, they've got, a good base of knowledge for health and safety, but it's knowing the nuance, especially like I mean, I can't know all of the country's laws, and we have to get help. We have advisors, and because everywhere's so different. If we were all off one set of laws, it'd make life a lot easier. If we were all off, the Health and Safety at Work Act, it'd be great, but we're not. It's a difficult one, because some companies, I think it depends what industry you're in. I think we'll be key with that one. I think general office workers, I think merge into one. I think where it's more like, industry, that type of thing, data security, all those type of, I think you'll have two separate roles. That's what my experience. I've worked for a big telco, and health and safety was completely separate from sort of FM, and they were sort of, two different departments just because of the need, really, because it was, so specific with the job. But I think it will change. I'm not sure how. Because my manager, he's on the board at IWFM, so we've had a discussion about how it's going to change the workplace. So significantly, that is for sure. It will. I just don't know how, because it's one of those. Will it just go back to normal? This is a discussion we had. Will things just go back to the way they were quite quickly, or will this change things forever? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't see it going back to the way it was. I think for the first time, probably in a long time, I think employees have got such a much bigger voice in all of this, that I think it will be driven by how people want to live their lives now, more than what management want for their organisation. I think it's just going to be flipped on its head. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if companies sort of go with a bit more hardline with coming back. Sort of, we need you to start coming back type of thing, rather than, you can come back when you feel it's the right time. It'd be interesting if companies start to sort of push that message from a higher level. We need to start reoccupying, because obviously we know the economy is going to be on its backside for quite a while, and we need to get it restarted as quickly as we can when it's safe. But I think it'd be an interesting one. It is. London I think London will really be an interesting situation, because obviously we know it generates so much revenue for the country. Absolutely. But how do you get 8 million people in safely a day? I mean, it's a challenge. I don't know how they're going to do that, and I think it's we'll just have to watch this space. We just go along with the ride, don't we? Yeah, absolutely. Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for your time. I know you've been utterly mobbed with a million other things to do in your role for FM around the world. So I'm really very, very grateful for
thank you. Thanks for your time. Nice to see you as well.
Yeah, and you. And hopefully I'll see you properly soon.
Yes, face to face.
All right. Thanks so much.
We can touch elbows.
Cheers.
Take care, Jill.
So that was the lovely Andy Meighan. I think all of this is so interesting. Everybody's different experiences of what's going on, but particularly interesting, I think, because Andy is responsible for such a huge worldwide organisation, and all the information that they're getting, the polling that they're doing around people's perceptions about work and going back to work, particularly in Asia and stuff, and what they feel about that, and what different nations are doing, and how they're responding to the different ways of working. So it was a really good conversation. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.